I don't know what happened there. That was a good deal. 9 chickens for 20 bucks. Hopefully they're all hens. I guess I'm going to have to splice those two together. This got to get cleaned up. Pulled the fig tree and the two mangoes. Maybe one's a mango and one's a... No, they're both mangoes. Figs have figs on it. Soil blocks I still have to plant. This is all Silver Queen corn. Well, this one, this one, this one, and this one. That one there is empty and ready for soil block. The small soil blocks. Same thing there. I planted 200 Eleni extra sweet seeds. Germination stunk, so we went to Silver Queen. Tried and true. I've grown sweet Eleni before, but this time it just does not want to germinate. These are the seed trays, seedlings I started. Doing good. Those, start getting them out in the sun a little bit. They'll get potted up. Those over there get potted up. These will get potted up into the larger blocks. They'll take off. Fig tree I've got to pot up. Fig tree I've potted up. My soil block mix is kind of similar to Elliot Coleman's. He's the first one who really did it in the States. I use peat moss, mushroom compost, perlite. I add some azomite, blood meal, bone meal. Now he'll add kaleidophosphate and also green scent. I don't have it, but I strain mine through these strainers here. This is a 1/2 inch strainer, and then I have 1/4 inch down there, so I'll go through the 1/2 inch first. That's just something I cobbled together. I had the 1/2 inch from the chicken tractor, so I made that. The wood is from fish tank stands that I didn't like, so I used that wood. Same thing with the other one. I bought the 1/4 inch cloth, but the wood, that's my fish tank stand. So you've seen pretty much what we've got going on here. We got seedlings going to get potted up. I have more on the porch. Started tomatoes, peppers. Here's the thing, guys. You've got to get going with your stuff. Your warm season crops should be in seed for transplanting. You will start getting cold here, I don't know, towards the end of December. And just count back your days to harvest. You know, the Silver Queen is 85 days, so I'll make that. Tomatoes I should make pretty easy. Shouldn't be a problem there. The beans will do fine. I can harvest those. In fact, a couple years I have harvested them into, pretty close to Christmas time when my niece and nephew were down. We had tons of beans. I'm going to try Salanova lettuce. See how that does. I'm going to try selling it, of course. A lot of stuff I want to try and sell. This time make some money off of this hobby. I had somebody ask me, I was at work, and somebody asked me, well, what stations, what channels do I watch? What YouTube channels for gardening? And I said, well, a couple come to mind. Billy over at Permapasture Farms. He's really good. He's good with the permapasture, permaculture stuff. But he's up in North Carolina. I watch Deep South Homestead with Danny and Wanda. They're good. They're not organic, but they're good. What I really like is probably Patrina Stacy or Stacy. I'm not sure how she pronounces her last name. but she's homegrown Florida. She's out of Orlando. She's pretty smart, but she's, she's not at this scale. She's not growing all the stuff I am, but she'll do the winter crop, the summer crops that I don't do. I plant what I eat, and to tell you the truth, I don't eat a lot of veggies, mostly low carb. So I'll have the occasional tomato, and when corn comes in, I'll go off of that diet for a week or two, but that's about it. But I'll pop the occasional tomato, as you've seen me, broccoli every once in a while. Mostly it's meat, a little bit of salad, maybe some cucumbers, but she's real good. She does a lot of canning. Years and years ago, probably 25, 30 years ago, there used to be a farm, Piney Point Farms down in Lower Hillsborough County. I used to go there and get 2 or 3 cases of tomatoes. I used to make sauce with it, and I would steam can it. I bought a little steam can and I did it. Now, of course, I do it with my own veggies, my own tomatoes, and I pressure can it. So that's good. And she does that too. And then there's another one, what the heck is her name? Roots and Refuge, when she gets into, Jessica, when she gets into seeds and stuff, she's knowledgeable about seeds and tomatoes. She's another good one. Who I really watch a lot of, he's on Pete Canaris' channel, Jim Kovaleski. I mean, I'll search him and I'll watch about every video. He's up on a scale that is out of sight. He's he's farming on 2 urban lots, and he's feeding a bunch of people. So he's really good, he's knowledgeable. More knowledgeable than I am, that's for sure. But, he gets free compost and stuff, and he works his soil. He knows his soil, he pays attention to it. He looks at what's going on. He got me watching him, he got me back to using grass clippings again. I haven't used those in 10 years. But now I'm going to start using them again, and the wood chips to an extent, to a large extent, since I have so many. You look at it and it's like, people say, well, man, you're up at there and that scale level. Yeah, but I've been doing this for my entire life pretty much. And people forget, this ground, there was nothing here. It was an old orange grove. So it had a lot of petrochemicals, poisons, synthetic fertilizers. It took a long time to remediate where the gardens are. Now it's a lot better. You don't smell the malathion like you used to when we first moved up here. But man, we've gotten rid of a lot of it. We're getting fertile ground again. I mean, I actually saw some earthworms in this garden here. Now, the chickens might have eaten them, but they're there. It takes a long time. It's like tropical fish. I keep tropical fish. In 1980, I started out with 2 10-gallon tanks I bought up in Cross County Center in New York, in Yonkers, New York. And now I've got over 100 that I've acquired. And at one time I had 50 of those running. I was going to go up to the full 100, 110, but started gardening again seriously. You don't just hop there first thing, Build your soil, go out, get a nursery pot, go buy a raised bed for $50 or whatever, fill it up and start growing something. In October, start lettuce. It doesn't take a whole lot to do it. You just have to want to do it. Start a couple tomato plants. I mean, you go to the store, you buy tomatoes. The tomatoes were bred after World War II for shipping, not for flavor. So they'll pick, most of your food is coming from who knows where. Right now, tomatoes in Florida coming out of Tennessee, they'll pick them about 10 to 15% blush, 15% of color, so that they'll ship well. But what I found is there's no flavor in them. When I pick one off the vine, even if I pick it, I'll pick it 2 to 3 days early. You pick that off there, you let it ripen fully on a windowsill. It's got that sweet flavor. It's got that sweet acid flavor that, you think about a tomato is. And that's what you're going for. Even the lettuce tastes so much different. All the lettuce that I grew and ate last year, which I do eat lettuce on a low carb, that just had so much more flavor to it than the iceberg or the romaine that I buy in the store. Main thing is, when I can grow stuff here, I grow it, I eat it locally. What I don't grow, I go find other people in this area that grow it locally, and we'll trade, or I'll buy it outright from them. And that's what you got to do. Eat local, eat what is in season. You want to have stuff that's not in season? Learn how to can or freeze it. Dehydrate it. Your herbs are great dehydrated. Parsley I dehydrated. Cilantro I dehydrated. I even dehydrated some tomatoes. It intensifies the sweetness on the tomatoes because you're getting rid of the water. That is so good. So, there are things that you can do where you can eat out of season. Watermelons, I grew 4 watermelons. I don't eat watermelon, but the wife and the kid do. So, the thing with watermelons is it started raining a lot. As it rains, all that water reduces the sugar content of the watermelon, so it's not as sweet as the ones we picked like 3 weeks before. Same thing happens with tomatoes. Tomatoes, you want to pick them in the afternoon so that the dew and everything else, isn't in the tomato, and it's a little bit drier. It enhances those sugars. It concentrates the sugars in the tomato. Look at them peppers over there. Those are all hot, by the way. I do like my hot peppers. There's a whole bunch of different science things for growing stuff, and you don't even have to know most of it. Like I always keep telling you, just go get a bag of Miracle-Gro. So what? It's not organic. Put something in there. It is going to taste infinitely better than what you could ever buy at the store, unless you're buying at a local farmer's market where they're not resellers, they're actually growing it. That'll taste good. But if they're reselling it, they're going down to a place like Sanwa Produce Market in Hillsborough County. They're reselling it, better than the store there. So, grow your own lettuce, grow your own tomatoes, grow your own string beans. These are bush beans that I showed you. I did start one tray. It's on the porch so that's 50 pole bean plants, the ones I like. Blowhildy, the purple one, Blue Lake Stringless, there's a golden one I have out there. I think there's 5 total that I grow because I like eating them. But I can sell those too. Oh yeah, I put down asparagus bean again. They grow well. Rattlesnake, red noodle. I like more of the ones that have color in it, but as soon as you go to cook them, the color comes out. They're all green beans. They all taste about the same. I just like the color how it looks on the plants. So I plant them. Asparagus beans, they're a yard long. Pick them when they're small. They're really good. No strings in them. You can do the bush beans in that Miracle-Gro bag. Probably do 4 plants. That'll give you a meal every couple of days, or at least once a week for a family of 4. That'll get you a meal going. You have your lettuce in another bag. Well, now you've got meals for, 2 or 3 nights out of the week. You got part of your meal. You still got to get your meats and stuff, but for the meats and stuff, I always recommend finding a local rancher. Buy quarter or a half. Some of them, if they're USDA inspected butchers, abattoirs, then they'll sell you individual cuts, and it's always, usually grass-fed, but they're not on feedlots. They're raised better than the feedlot cattle. Meat tastes better too. In fact, the other night we just had a couple of T-bones off of the one I bought. Got a year ago March. Still good. Anyway, those are my recommendations. Those are the channels that I watch a lot of. Katrina even has on her YouTube channel, she gives you the website where you can download her journal type thing, put your own information in there and stuff. She's real good. Jim Kowaleski, always recommend watching him. Him and Pete Canaris have a Master Gardener course online. $250. If I had the money, I'd probably do it myself. It's well worth it, and that's how I would spend money on that. Just to learn, even just to grow. I've been by his house a few times. I don't stop and talk. I don't bother him. He's usually working. But in the wintertime, he's got a lot of stuff out there, and one day I'd like to talk to him, farmer to farmer. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. I hope this video is educational for you. You know, try and have a channel, no drama, just trying to teach you how to grow it, trying to get you to grow something. Lettuce, string beans, maybe not pole beans, but string beans, lettuce. You can go cabbage. I got cabbage down in one of these trays. I mean, I have them all marked, so that should help it. But you guys can do it. I know you can. Get out there. It's 2023. It's time. Start your garden. Start something. Start a pot. Not the plant. Start your plants in a pot. Anyway, get growing. God bless and take care.